Hi,
Hello.
Kandelyne. I'm so excited to be able to talk with you today. So thanks for agreeing to this interview.
Anytime. I am so excited. This is going to be
Yes, yeah. Yeah, me too. So I'll go ahead and just briefly for our listeners introduce you. Okay, so this is Kandelyne, and Kandelyne and her sister Caitlin own Marigold's Bookstore in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. So they're two sisters. They grew up swapping books, scribbling stories, and dreaming of a space filled with the kind of magic that only books can bring. Marigold's Bookstore is that dream come true. So it's a cozy little haven where community, creativity, and conversation bloom. I've been there. It's so cute. Um, their hope is that every person who walks through their doors feels like family and leaves with a story or two that speaks to their heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, Candlin and I grew up. We went to the same high school together. We were in different grades, but kind of knew each other that way.
Mm.
And so Bartlesville is both of our hometowns, and Marigold's Bookstore is the cutest, the most magical place in downtown Bartlesville. It's amazing. So
That is
I really wanted to be able to chat with you and just talk to you about how you made this dream come true.
Yeah, well, I mean, marigolds came from obviously Katie and I have been readers our entire lives. I mean, that
Hmm.
was we've never not been readers, and
Yeah.
that's in large part thanks to our parents. I mean, they were, we grew up with our parents always just kind of throwing books at us. If you're bored, read. And then,
Yeah.
what one
Great
started as
parents.
yeah, honestly,
Yes.
great, good on them because look where we
Mhm.
are. Uh,
Yes.
so we maybe 3 or 4 years ago at this point, Katie and I, we used to talk all the time. It'd be so great if we had a bookstore. And then that kind of turned into, well, could we have a bookstore? And so
Hmm.
we looked all over Bartisville for the perfect location. We quickly decided that if we were going to do it, it needed to be downtown,
Hmm.
just because the buildings are beautiful. You
Yeah.
have everything that goes on downtown, whether it's seasonal or throughout the summer.
Hmm.
Um, and a year ago, we had almost given up because we couldn't find anything. We're not super wealthy or anything like that, and so there's a lot of great properties way out of our price range.
Hmm.
And and we didn't know if it would work. We didn't know, how much to do. We went into this totally blind. And then I had been at the farmer's market with my husband, and there was a sign in the window of where we are now, and it was like for rent. And he was like, "You should call." I was like, "There's
Hmm.
no way." By this point, we were jaded because it's like there's no way it's gonna work.
Yeah.
But I did. He convinced. He was like, "Just do it. Like, quit being about yourself. Just do it." So I call. The guy answers, and he's like, "I can be there in 30 minutes." So I'm like, "Okay." So I call Katie, and I'm like, "Hey, you need to come. You need to come downtown, and you've got 20 minutes." So we get in there. We walk in, and when you walked in, there had been a dividing wall for the front and the back half, and there needed some updates and things like that. But it was like the weirdest sensation. We immediately were like, this could work. And then it became, okay, if it's going to work. So we took a week, and that was end of September last year. We got everything up and together in a month. I do not
Yeah.
recommend doing that. It was psychotic.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and we opened November 2nd. So we signed the lease October 1st
Okay.
and had everything, every book. We did not even have an LLC. So we did everything. Because at first we were like, we'll find the property and then it'll be fine or whatever. We
Hmm.
had nothing. And it was insane behavior. I do not recommend it, but it came out great, and we love it, and
Yeah.
it's a dream come true. And so it came from, I worked remotely for a software company prior to this, and Katie works for elder care in town in Bartlesville, which is a local nonprofit. And we were just, what would be the coolest thing we could do? And it's open a bookstore. So, and now we're here, and it's fantastic, and it's a dream come true. And we've met so many wonderful people, and it's turned into something far more satisfying and wonderful than we could have ever hoped for. So
Yes.
it's incredible. And to do it with your sister, I mean, it's
I
the best.
know. That is like, I feel like it's out of a rom-com almost, like one of those contemporary romances. You have the bookstore owner, like that's you guys, and you're with,
Yeah,
and to be with your
it's
sister.
so fun. It's a blast. And I am so grateful we both are to be able to have to been afforded the opportunity to do it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
it's cute.
yes. Well, I'm so excited to just talk even more about your experience and those details and everything. But before we do that, so you on your Marigold's Bookstore account consistently post these Dobbs of the day. And I
Yes.
feel like you get such great engagement with those. They're so cute. I love watching them. Anytime they pop up, I'm like, I gotta watch Kandelyne do her Dobb of the day. So I thought we could take a second and do that, even though, we're not dressed to the nines right now or anything. But
No, but that's okay.
do you want to go first?
Yes. Okay. So
Okay.
for my job of the day, my drink, just straight black coffee, and the sweetest little mug. This is not mine. I cannot take credit for it, but it is adorable.
It is cute.
My outfit, I just have on a nice pullover, fun jewelry, and I would
And
show
your
you my
nails are so cute too, by the way. They're
thanks. I did them
yeah.
myself.
Talent.
I
Man, I need
did.
to I need to get that because I got the bare nails
I,
right now.
I don't do my nails a whole lot because when you're ripping open boxes and holding, they pop off pretty quickly, and it's not
Yeah.
a fun feeling. It's
Yeah.
actually quite gut wrenching when you feel that pain. So
Oh, yeah.
this is purely because I'm hanging out with my girlfriends, and I
You
want to
gotta
have
be
a cute
cute.
show. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll come off in about 48 hours.
Nice.
Um, and then my book that I'm actually reading is Small Town Big Witch, or yeah, Small Town Big Witch. I
Oh, I
think
think I
Quebec.
I think I know that song. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, yes. It has a
Yeah,
really cute cover.
yes. So it
Hmm.
actually follows a local indie bookstore owner in her small town. I'm about a quarter of the way through,
Okay.
um, and it is darling. It
Yeah.
is so cute and cozy. Um, she was tested for powers, and it didn't do anything, and so she was like, "I'm not a witch," which kind of sucks.
Yes.
But it's like these like creepy, eerie, dark magic is kind of creeping around her town, and so she's like, "What do we do?" But
Mhm.
it's written so well, and it's so entertaining. I'm loving it so far. So that's my dog.
Cute. Yes. That's a perfect like fall read, a perfect way to start that.
I love
Um,
fall.
my job of the day, I'm just wearing this shirt, cream shirt, some gold hoops, my wedding ring, no nails. I need to fix that. um, and I actually have a major sweet tooth. So in the morning, I drink caffeinated hot chocolate.
Wait,
And
stop.
it
What
has the
is that?
same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee, but it's hot chocolate. I'm a child.
No,
Yeah,
I. Where do
but
you get that? How do you make it?
I just no, I just order it. It's called Perk Energy. Um,
I need to
and
write.
yeah, so if it's hard though because my daughter sees it and smells it and wants to drink it. I'm like, this is adult. This is for me. You
Please
cannot
do not
have this.
do this.
Yeah, yeah. But
You said
yeah, that's
Perk?
my. I usually start off the morning with that. Yeah, Perk Energy. It doesn't
Okay.
because my teeth kind of get yellow too with coffee. So I'm like, what can I drink that will
That
not
will
turn?
stain them.
Yeah,
Mine do too. I spend quite a lot on teeth whiteners because otherwise I drink so much coffee.
yeah.
I can clean a pot in a day. It's
Hey, I respect that and I totally get that. Especially, yeah, you have a business to run. You need lots of caffeine.
yeah.
Um,
Love
and then my
it.
read of the day, I'm actually listening to an audiobook currently. It's called Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. And
I
it's
love
a
tea.
cozy, yes. I just started reading their stuff. So I did Sword Heart, and then I was like, okay, I need more. So Paladin's Grace is kind of like a cozy fantasy about a
Mhm.
paladin and a perfumer. So the paladin, his god recently died, and so he's this holy knight who has like no god, no patron god. So he's feeling a little lost. And then the perfumer ends up getting accused of murder. So they kind of have to try to clear her name together. And
Ah,
the paladin knits. He's this like knitter. Like he it's so
I
cute.
love
He's just it's so cozy and sweet. And I'm really liking it. So I think I'm about like 25% through
yeah,
that
about
one.
a quarter of the way through. So we're on the
Mhm.
same page.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
If you like Kingfisher,
Hmm.
um, a little bit spookier, a house with good bones.
Okay.
So
Okay,
good.
let me write that down.
So good.
Okay, House with Good Bones. Who do you know who writes that? Who's the author?
Kingfisher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good. And then they just came out with another one, Hemlock and Silver, I think his name.
Yes, yes.
I will
I have,
be
and
reading that as
because
well.
they kind of do almost like some horror, right?
Mhm.
Like they do
Yeah,
a little bit. here. But then they also have this cozy romance situation going on.
Yes, yes.
So we love someone who can do both, who can do all things.
Give
Um,
us everything. That's all we want.
yes, yes. Great. Okay. Well, I thought we would go ahead and just dive into some submitted questions,
Yeah.
if that works for you. So I have a book club on Bindery. It's called the Coterie. But they book club members were able to submit questions that they wanted to ask you. They were super excited about this interview. So
Oh, I'm
a lot of these come
excited.
from them. Yeah. And there's actually some people in the book club have talked about they want to start a bookstore. So I was like, this is perfect. They can kind of, yeah,
Yes.
hear about your experience, any advice you have. But first, so you kind of briefly took us through, but I want to ask kind of more in depth. Can you talk about your thought process as you decided to open Marigolds and when the moment was, I guess, that you realized that this could become a reality?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like I said, we started playing around with the idea 3 or 4 years ago. 2 years ago, my sister and I, we are incredibly close. Um, like like I would live in her home if I could. Like I
Yeah.
love my sister.
Mhm.
But about 2 years ago, we were both going through a really hard time, and we were happy with our jobs, and we were just kind of miserable in a way. Not miserable. That's really dark. We weren't miserable. We were just unhappy
Yeah.
with what we were doing. We're like, we could be doing something so much cooler. Why not?
Mhm.
So that turned into, okay, well, what do we want to do? And do we want to do it together? And that became, yeah, let's open a bookstore because I worked remotely. So I was at home every day. Katie would come over every single morning and
Mhm.
I would have coffee, we would sit. She takes a lot of sweets in her coffee. She also has a sweet tooth. So,
You. Yeah. We get along.
she's like pouring in whipped cream and all the creamers and stuff like that. We would sit
Mhm.
down and all we would talk about before she went to work. She'd get there right after she dropped off her kiddos, is what books we were reading. And so it started in my kitchen bar, where we would sit and just was like, well, let's do a bookstore. Let's do it. We sit here and we talk about what we're reading every single morning. What books are we looking forward to? We would make lists and we would come. We had our own little book club, and we wanted more of a community with that because it was, we wanted to talk to people about books and we didn't have anybody.
Mhm.
And so we kind of just took the jump and hoped that there were more readers.
And there totally were. You tapped into this huge
Yeah.
market in Bartlesville.
Yeah, it was pure luck. Pure luck. I would recommend if somebody wanted to open up a bookstore, do more research than we did because it caused a lot of fear. It caused so much fear. I mean, the
Yeah.
night before we opened, we were like, what if nobody comes? Like, what if nobody shows up?
It's so vulnerable.
It is, and it's a very scary, but it came from us just wanting a change. And it happened in my kitchen at the bar and over cups of coffee, and we somehow pulled it together, and that was crazy.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
probably definitely helps to have like your best friend slash sister to lean
Mhm.
on, because then you're not facing all that scariness totally alone.
I could not do it without Katie.
Mhm.
Katie and I, we I just we're so in sync when it comes to things like that. Um, Marigolds would not be a thing if not for Katie or for
Mhm.
I being sisters. It would not be possible if I didn't have her. No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
It seems like you guys definitely complement each other's strengths too,
we do.
which is important.
Yeah, Katie is the cool cucumber of us two, and I am the kind of maniac that is just everywhere. Um,
Really. Get it.
yes, she's the cool, calm waters to my psycho roaring ocean that just is like
Mhm.
hitting you with storm after storm. So
Yeah.
she's the level headed one when it comes to us, and I can't tell you how wonderful that is.
Yeah. Well, that's so great. I'm wondering, so you said it took you about a month to get Marigolds up and running.
Yeah.
So that was including like getting inventory. Did you guys, because you're a
Yes.
new and used bookstore, so did that mostly involve getting used books and then ordering like a few new ones, or how did that work?
So we before we opened, we had been slowly, when we knew we wanted to open up a bookstore a couple years ago, we'd been slowly securing used books, things that we thought would be
Okay.
good. And that was the only inventory we had prior to getting our spot. And let me
Okay.
be very frank, it was not much. Um, because when we found the spot, we had taken a break because we thought, it wasn't going to work.
Hmm.
And but we in that month time span, we got more used from the community. We had posted after we had announced that we were going to open on our personal feed. Um, we decided, well, we needed a Facebook page. As we got closer, we asked for donations from the community, and we did it in a way that um, every donation was put in to potentially receive a basket, which was great. It was so fun putting that together. We were so grateful the way that people showed up for us. It was so heartwarming. Because again, there's a lot of fear that goes into it. What if no one comes? What if everyone's like, I'm not giving you my books? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and so, but the thing with used books is they recirculate in the community, so they never really leave home. And that's kind of why we do a bit of both. Now, new, we ordered, I mean, everything else we ordered within the month of getting ready. We were taking down
Okay.
walls, painting, hanging wallpaper, putting together a fireplace, building bookshelves. I mean, that was, Katie
Ah,
did all of it for the most part. I say that.
yeah.
My husband broke down the wall. Her husband actually built our counter, but everything else we did. So,
Yes.
but
Good.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
Girl
did all of
power.
that this month. Yeah, honestly,
Mhm.
so us. We complained the entire time, but we got it.
Yeah, naturally.
You do. Like, this is terrible. Why are we doing this? And then
Yeah.
it comes together and you're like, wow, this is nice. I enjoy this.
Yes. I actually would love to talk about your space a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when you guys first opened, I went with my sister-in-law. I was like, we have to go. And we
Yeah.
walked in and she turned to me. She's like, Micah, this is the most beautifully and like thoughtfully curated space that I've seen. She said, she's like, you can just tell that so much love has been
Yeah.
poured into this, and it's like a work of the heart.
Yeah.
And it really is like you walk in and it feels so cozy and special. So I wanted to ask, some of your design choices, or you have little spaces where people can sit and read, like I guess what inspired your store layout and what did you want out of that?
Well, we wanted it to feel kind of like you were coming into a home. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can go to Barnes and Noble, or you can go to any bookstore, big chain, because we're
Mm-hmm.
indie. And it's laid out right, but there's nothing super personal about it. We wanted
Mm-hmm.
people to come in and feel very comfortable, very cozy, like there's no pressure. You're here to enjoy yourself with a good story. And also, a big part of reading is romance, right? Even if
Mm-hmm.
it's, no matter what you're reading something, and there is a very kind of dear and near romance to that experience. And that's what we wanted to have. The decorations come mostly from my home. I love a very eclectic, vintage, Granny Poppins type vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yes.
and so that we tried everything we could to bring in pieces that felt warm and inviting. And so that
Mm-hmm.
was our goal. Now we're in it about a year. We've moved some stuff around and things like, but the overall feeling is there. Katie and I are big Harry Potter fans, which is why there's that outdoor staircase that gave us that little storage closet. Well, we turned that into under the staircase for kids to sit and read. So we've got like the Hogwarts letters. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then the reading room, we laugh a lot because we see people go in and they sit and they read, or they kind of take their time with their coffee, and it's just so sweet to kind of witness people using those spaces. But yeah, we wanted it to feel like a home. We didn't want it to feel super clean, not clean, but like
Yeah,
um
like sterilized.
sterilized. We didn't want
Yeah.
it to just be a store where you just come in and buy. We wanted to create an environment where you could talk and hang out and get to know me and Katie and build that
Mm-hmm.
community and foster that connection. And that's, I think, the biggest part about marigolds. And a good way to do that is through the environment. We
Mm-hmm.
want people to come in and feel welcomed and cozy. And because that's what we want, as readers. I love a good cup of coffee or tea. I love a good
Hmm.
book, a comfy chair, a blanket, good smells. Like that's what we want. And so we were hoping that that would translate to other readers as well. And so far it has, and we're really grateful that
Hmm.
that's worked out as well. So
Yeah.
everything is either from my home or thrifted somewhere in Dewey or some piece that we have found.
Yes. I love that.
So yeah, we tried hard. I'm glad that
Yeah.
it's translating well though. That makes me
Yes,
really
it
happy. That
translates
was
very
really
well.
kind.
Yes. Well, and I feel like a lot of something that people crave is those third places, third
Mhm.
spaces, where it's somewhere that you can go and have community. And you guys do a book club in your store too, right?
We
Yeah.
do.
So that's such like just a great, yeah, I think it's and I think it's becoming one of those places in Bartlesville where I've noticed that a lot of people they go regularly or they do the book club or it's becoming a really beautiful spot in downtown. So I love
Oh,
that for you guys.
happy.
Yeah.
It definitely warms our heart and makes us really happy to see that.
Yeah.
It's what you want, right? So it's wonderful to see that happening.
Yeah. I'm wondering, is it as romantic as it seems to be a bookstore owner? I feel like in our minds we're like, oh, like owning a bookstore, like it seems like, yeah, the rom-com, like, oh, it's probably just all so like is it, what's kind of your favorite thing about it and what's something maybe that's unexpected or not as glamorous?
Well, it is very romantic. I will tell you that, but I think that's very unique to the individual.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is very romantic in the sense that you come in. My favorite thing in the morning is walking in, and I bring my dog. I bring Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bring her in every morning. I start the coffee. I look around, but I am someone that romanticizes everything, and
Yeah.
it can be so annoying sometimes, and I know that. But I think there are definitely downsides. I will tell you, I hate I hate doing inventory. I love bringing books
Yeah.
in. Katie and I, we love picking out books. We love book ordering. But inventory, we have to do it once a month, where we go through that part. I'm not going to lie, it's terrible. It is so
Yeah.
tedious and time consuming. I won't lie.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
long does it take you to do inventory? Is it like a day?
It takes probably two or three.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
takes two or three of Katie and I both being very like on top of every single thing, making sure that everything's lining up. Um, but I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah.
You can't be just like happy, perfect little
Hmm.
fairyland people all the time. But it could be worse. That really is the
Yeah.
only that's kind of
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I definitely would be that way too. I think you seem to be more people oriented and like to be kind of front of house. And I
Yeah.
feel like I would struggle with the back of house stuff. I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is yeah. Yeah.
I struggle with it. That is Katie's side. Katie loves numbers. Katie loves, making sure everything is super organized and put together. I'm at
Hmm.
the front doing all of that. So, like I
Yeah.
said, without her, it would not be possible.
Yes, yin and yang, you're coming together and yeah, making it all work. For sure. So let's see. Oh, I also wanted to ask, just what did you and your sister study in college? And do you feel like that helped prepare you for this experience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did global studies with a
Okay.
focus on arts and culture. Katie did accounting.
Oh, perfect.
That is, yeah, I think
Yeah.
so I am like the frou-frou, whatever, and Katie's the logical numbers. I know nothing about numbers. I am terrible with math. I could not
Me
do it.
too.
It's so bad.
It
I
is.
I wish that I were smart enough to do. I'm not. It
I'm
just
sure you are. It just isn't something that like is sticking in your brain, you
I'm too
know?
far gone. I'm too far gone. I've got
Me too.
Katie. It's fine.
Everything
I
like high school math got flushed down a brain toilet 12 years ago. I'm like, I don't know.
don't know
I can
anything.
add and subtract, but
Yes, yes. I
yeah.
add, subtract. I could multiply and divide. Anything beyond that, I am not the person for you. Please
Yeah.
don't ask me. It will be painful for both of us.
Yeah. But
So yeah,
then book
absolutely.
recommendations or arts, things that's totally your thing.
That's totally my thing. And then Katie's
Yeah.
great with numbers. She's also a huge reader, and so she covers a lot of that territory too. And
Hmm.
yeah, it absolutely set us up for success in that
Yeah.
sense because
Okay.
I
So if you're wanting to own a bookstore, those are two great, if you're in college thinking, what should I study? Two great options.
Yeah, please no math because there's a
Yeah.
lot.
Or get someone behind you who knows some math. Get a
Who
business
knows?
partner.
Yeah,
Yeah, hire an
exactly.
accountant. Um, so you have a very loyal customer base. I noticed that a lot of people, I think that we both know, I feel like are constantly posting or stopping by Marigolds. And they're like, I just went by Marigolds today.
Yeah.
Um, so what are some of the things that you do to foster genuine connection with your patrons?
I try very hard. Katie and I both do, but we try very hard to remember people's names,
Mhm,
and ask them and remember small details because Katie and I think something that's really important to us is that they're not, yes, we have a business and yes, they are buying books. At no point to us are they just customers. These are
mhm,
local community members, these are friends, these are, I mean, these are people that want to support us. And because of that, not only are we incredibly grateful, um, but it's so interesting. Like these people, we never would have known them. We never would
mhm.
have come into contact. Katie and I have made so many friends in Bartlesville since starting this business. And so we view them as friends and we treat them as such. And because of that, I think that, helps that because we try our best to know who's coming into our store.
Mhm.
Um, and not just from, like a business standpoint. It's we love it.
Yeah.
Before this we were in our own little bubbles and now we're outside of that and we're loving every minute of it. And it's beautiful to see all of these people come through and have so many interests and talk about a common shared interest, books.
Mhm.
Um, for that, for that alone, I mean, we're entirely grateful to them because without them, there is no marigolds. I mean,
Mhm.
we could have a store all we want, but we know that if not for them, there would be no us. And I
Yeah.
think that's beautiful, and Katie and I appreciate that immensely. I think treating people kindly and genuinely is the most important thing you can do, whether you're a business owner or just someone on the street. So
Yeah.
I think that's our philosophy, and um, I think it's worked out well. And like I said, we've met incredible people, wonderful
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah.
we owe everything that we are to them
I
because
love that.
it has nothing to do with us and everything to do with the people that come through our door.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's got a little bit to do with you too, but I'm sure that
Very,
yeah, just a little, just all
just
that
a little,
inventory you
very
have to do. And
yeah, just the inventory. That's
um,
all.
do you feel like you've gotten to know patrons well enough that you can sometimes make personalized book recommendations? Like, have you gotten to that point yet? Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of people. I feel like there's so many people that come through. Um, that I've gotten to know and that Katie's gotten to know, and we see what they're buying, we see what they're reading. And so we make personalized book recommendations all the time, and it's so fun.
Mhm.
Katie and I both love to kind of push people out of their comfort zone a little bit, which I'm sure some people can attest to. They're like, yeah, they do. Um, but it's so great to be able
Mhm.
to like recommend a book and then hear them come back and be like, I love this. And I'm like, great, let me tell you about
Mhm.
this book then. It's so fun. And it's
Mhm.
a lot of people they read in a certain genre or they a certain few genres. And so when you even if they're not a frequent customer, they're not someone that frequents us, on the regular. Um, it's really fun to see talk about what they are reading and there's ways to narrow it down. One of my favorite questions is like, okay, well, what do you watch on TV? What's your favorite TV show? And they'll say, maybe they like Rain, like the
Mhm.
historical
Yes, yeah.
fantasy kind of
Yeah.
TV show.
The Mary Queen
Great.
of Scots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, love that, by the way.
Mhm.
uh and it's like, okay, well, if you like that, you might like something in the historical fiction genre. And if you do, why don't we give you maybe like The Stolen Queen or something like that. And then
Mhm.
they'll read it and they'll come back and like, this is great. Or they'll say, this wasn't quite for me, but I think, these are the things. And so we're able to narrow it down and get to know people. But it's pretty great to be a part of that, whether they're longtime readers or they're just needing a recommendation or they're wanting to read. I think it's wonderful to see kind of that either transition or flow. And I think that's great.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a huge advantage that independent bookstores have over
Mhm.
maybe a chain bookstore. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering what other pros do you see as an independent bookstore, like what are some of the advantages you have over these bigger chains?
Well, I think a lot of it comes from atmosphere, and then because we're an indie, we're an independent, we're locally owned. It's not you're coming in, you're talking to myself or Katie or Katie's daughter Addison. We're all readers, and so you get someone who is not only the front for this business but also loves reading, and so you get a very personalized experience every time you come through. Bigger chains, and everything is very curated, right? So
Yeah.
bigger chains like Barnes and Noble, or even like Amazon, like a virtual book dealer, they book dealer, they
Book dealer, like drug dealer.
that's also
The dealers.
bookseller.
Mhm.
You lose a bit of that personality and that community feel. And I think people, especially after COVID and thing, I think there's a craving for community and a crazy craving for that personal connection. And so I think that's kind of what we bring to the table. It's easy to go on Amazon or to go, well, and I say for the most part, Bartlesville doesn't have a bookstore. So you're driving an hour to Tulsa.
Yeah.
We provide the atmosphere, convenience, even though we're small, we can order anything.
Hmm.
Um, we work with publishing houses now, which is really exciting. Before we were ordering with Ingram,
Hmm.
um, but we provide something that they don't have, and that's that community touch and that personal touch of knowing me, knowing Katie, knowing Addison. Um, when you come in, and I think that's really important. They
I
remember. They
think
ask
so
me, like,
too.
"How's your kids? How's your dog? How's your
Hmm.
mom?" There's that loving touch to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it feels so great as a patron too to be able to support somebody that you know and know like, yeah, I could order from Amazon or go to this big store, but ultimately like I'm
yeah,
coming into Marigolds and yeah, I'm supporting Kandelyne and Katie and
yeah, yeah.
like and I just yeah, I love that as a patron. I think it's really special.
Yeah, you get to know the person in front of you, and it's less of a business and more of a friendship. And I think that that's one of the most valuable things that you could
Me
have
too.
as a person or a business owner, whatever you're doing. I think that's wonderful.
Especially now, I feel like again, so many of us are craving community. So it's a
Yeah,
wonderful way to be a part of your community and yeah, find friends and a good place to be.
I
Um,
agree.
I'm wondering, so you guys have a trade-ins program, right?
Yes.
Yes. So what are the costs and benefits of doing a trade-in program?
So we do in-store credit
Hmm.
specifically, and it's really, truly, it keeps the dollars within the bookstore.
Hmm.
Trade-ins can be tricky depending on how you do trade-ins. I think if we were a bit bigger, we would do a better trade-in program, but we're smaller and we're still, kind of getting, our feet underneath us. So we do in-store credit. So you can bring us books. We'll offer, depending on the book, depending on its condition, we can offer anywhere from, like, let's say it's a hardback and it's new, we can offer anywhere from, you know, $2 to $3 to $4 for in-store credit. That's for a very nice copy. Obviously, some books are loved on, and that's okay.
Hmm.
But we don't sell a used book very rarely for more than $12.
Yeah.
We don't want to go crazy. Our goal is to get books in the community and get people reading. So our prices on our used books, they're not super high. And $12 for a hardback that's perfectly
Yeah.
blue, like, we're not charging crazy prices.
Yeah.
But it works really well. Keep dollars in the bookstore, keep us up and running, and it puts books out into the community. And
Hmm.
it's a good recycling. It keeps people coming back. It's like, oh, I have in-store credit at Marigold. It's like, I need to go use that. And so,
Hmm.
it's really nice. And so that's why
Yeah.
we do it. And like I said, the used portion of us is really nice, because I mean, you can't always buy a $30 book. You can't always buy an $18 book, but you might be able to buy a $4 book, or you might be able to trade books in and have credit and, keep it going. So
Yes.
we do it mainly to continue the reading experience, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that totally makes sense. Do you feel like you have a lot of people in the community bringing in books? Do you get a fair
Mhm.
amount of used? Yeah.
We do. We get a ton, and it's fantastic. The only thing we ask now, because we've been getting so much, is just call ahead, because
Hmm.
sometimes we have weeks where we get, I mean, and it, like, totes of
Yeah.
books.
I mean, I
Uh,
brought in some totes before
I
where I'm like,
know.
hey, I'll come bring
You
all my
want
books to you
these?
guys. Yeah. So
No,
yeah,
I
I'm
know.
sure.
And we mind you, when you brought them, we didn't require you to call. Now we do because we get so
Uh-huh.
many. And it takes me and Katie a second to go through and price and make sure everything's good. Books can get sick, right? Like
Mhm.
you know, they can get mold. If they do mold, it will travel to other
Mhm.
books.
I didn't know
Bookworms,
that.
yeah, you have to be very
Oh,
careful.
wow.
Um,
Okay.
Bookworms are real. They will,
What?
yeah,
No, they're not.
they are, and they will burrow little holes into your books, and then they will travel and eat the other books. So
I thought that was, I didn't know that was a real thing. I'm
yeah,
shocked.
it's so
Wow. Okay.
scary. It is our biggest fear to like. So
Yes.
we've
So
got a
you're going
process.
through and checking
Yeah,
all of them and okay.
yeah, and it takes
Here you
us a
go.
second, you know.
Yeah.
Um, we depending on, you know, if we're unsure about a book, freezing a book can help. If you're worried about mold or things like that, freezing it won't stop mold. If there's mold, we have
Mm-hmm.
to take care of it and see if there's anything to do to remedy it. If
Mm-hmm.
there's not, unfortunately, you know, we just have to be very careful with the way that we deal with it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, you can freeze books. We have some chemicals. We clean each book before it goes on the shelf. You know, we wipe everything down. We go in between the pages, because you have to be really careful. We don't.
Yeah.
I would feel terrible if someone bought a book from us
Oh
and it ruined
yeah.
their collection. I would die. I would feel so.
Yeah.
So we're very very careful about it.
Okay. That man, I learned something new today, and I need to go
Yeah,
check on my books. I'm
I
like,
know.
you didn't get any like mold from my books that you
I
probably don't
didn't.
even
You
remember.
could. They were
Okay. I'm like,
perfect. Do not worry. Oh God, I gave
okay.
them all their books. No,
I
you didn't.
know.
It's very rare we get a book like that.
Mhm.
You just have to be careful. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're good. You didn't do anything like
Okay.
that.
I have a question about would you guys ever consider becoming a chain one day, or are you wanting to just keep it to your single store?
You know, I don't know.
Hmm.
We've actually talked about that. You know, where do we see marigolds going?
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, our goal is to expand, and we want to be up much bigger. We want to offer more. We want to have, you know, places where people can sit and study, and event space and things like that. So we do want to grow. Do we want to be a chain? I think we're just so young.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've considered the possibility of that becoming a reality, because it just seems so far off.
Yeah.
If it happened, great. But
Yeah.
I think right now we're just kind of happy to be a part of the community in the way that we are and in the space that we are. And so
Yeah.
anything that we can do, you know, just to keep going in the way we're going, I think is great. If we do, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe like 10, 20 years down the
Yeah,
road, you're
that
really
would be cool.
established. Go to like
Not
a Wasso or I don't
Yeah,
know, somewhere nearby.
focusing. I mean, but the way that you would do that, I think, is the most important thing to us. I think is the integrity of marigolds, and
Hmm.
that is a very community centered, you know, space. And so
Yeah.
even if it were to become a chain, I mean, it would be hard because we would want every single one of those spaces to be very community centered to the community they're in. You know, books
Yeah.
that the community is reading, not books that, you know, whatever. And
Yeah.
then I think it would be kind of hard to do that. But I mean, there's anything's possible. 10,
Yeah.
20 years. I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. One day maybe, but yeah, no
I'm really
rush.
there right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think focusing on what you have right now and strengthening the community and expanding just where you are is great. So,
Yeah.
um, the last question I have for you is just any advice that you would give someone who is thinking about opening their own bookstore.
Don't do it in a month.
That's great advice. I'm writing that down. Do not do that.
Honestly, well, I think the most important thing is to know your community.
Mhm.
Local indie bookstores, the one thing they bring more than anything else is a touch of that personal connection. So I would say know your community, get out there, you know,
Mhm.
be aware of what people are reading. If you know your customer base, you can't go wrong. Um, be good at math or know someone that's good at math. I will say that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of math that goes into it.
Yeah.
Uh, but more than anything, it's know your community and be okay with failing. Katie and I have failed so many times throughout this whole process. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so many aspects to opening a bookstore that I don't think people realize. Um, So learning to be okay and, taking the punches and keep pushing, I think that that's also really important. But, failure is part of it, because with every failure, there's a bit of success. So I think, know your community, be able to roll with the punches, things like that. There's not maybe one thing that I would recommend, but rather just, be flexible,
Yeah.
because there's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's nerve-wracking. So yeah, I
Yeah.
would say good support system, good community, punches. Be okay
Yeah.
with them.
What does Brene Brown say? I think it's going into the arena, when you're trying something new, that it's vulnerable and can kind of feel like
Yeah,
everyone's watching you, and yeah, you're kind of on a stage. You're like, I hope this works
yeah,
out. Sometimes it doesn't, but it's
yeah.
just you have to keep doing it.
That's the way, that's the way you get to where you're going, is just,
Mhm.
it's scary, but I think the end of it is such a treasure. I don't know that there's anything more gratifying in a sense. It's, the failures are what makes the success. And I I think that without it, I don't think we would be doing as well as we are.
Yeah.
Failure. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that is wonderful advice. Thank you. The last kind of thing that I want to do with this interview is a lightning round. So I just have a couple of fun questions, kind of to get to know you and Marigolds and your reading taste. So the first question I have is, if you could pick any fictional character to be your emergency contact, who would it be?
Oh, okay. I really think probably Luna Lovegood, because
Okay. Okay.
calm,
Yeah,
does very well in like stressful circumstances. She's very cool and chill, and I
that's
would like
true.
that.
You're like,
I
I'm
would.
not so cool and chill. I need.
I am not. Yeah, I am not cool and chill. If something is happening, I'm like, oh, we're in
Mhm.
trouble, but we're gonna do it. But we're in trouble. She would be
Mhm.
so calm and chill, and
That's true.
it's fine. Like everything's
Yeah.
okay. We're gonna do it. I need that.
Yeah. She's so unfrazzled. It's so, well, yeah, yeah. She is very cool.
She's very
I,
chill.
yes. So what are your top three favorite books or series? I know it's kind of hard to narrow it down sometimes. But
Discovery of Witches,
okay.
probably one of my favorite. Deborah Harkness,
Okay.
fantastic trilogy. Um, and she's actually produced, I think, maybe one or two more books in that series in the last few years. Within the last year, I know of one, and then I think one came out. It's so fantastic. Historical fiction,
Okay.
fantasy,
Ooh.
wonderful.
Okay, I need to read that.
Oh, you should. It's
Mhm.
so good. Um, I what else do I love? Secret Garden. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, I love
It was
Secret
the first
Garden.
chapter book that I've ever read, and because of that, I think that it's stuck with me in a way that's, just I'll read it to my own children one day. It's
Mhm.
my favorite. And then if I had to pick a third, oh, I don't know. Um, I loved. I have to say, I love Akatar. Throne of Glass.
Oh yeah. Yes.
It's not anything grand, or but it's kind of what got me back into reading in college. I'd taken a bit of a
Mhm.
hiatus because all I was doing is school articles and things like that. And I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses, and then after that, I was reading every
You're
single day.
hooked
So
again.
it was,
Yes.
and so I owe a lot of what like I'm doing today to that series, and I think that it deserves credit.
Oh yeah. I'm
Yeah.
the same way. That's the series that hooks me back in. And I
Yes.
feel like there's so many of us who jumped back into reading because of
Yeah.
Akatar. So you gotta
Actually,
give them
she
their roses. Yes. Yeah, I don't know what she put in those books, but it's like crack or
it's
something.
crap. It's good. I can't tell you how many times that I've reread that series or the Throne of Glass series.
Mhm.
But it's so good. So
Mhm.
good.
And just comfort.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
I owe so much to that series because I don't know that I would be as big of a reader today if I hadn't just given it and read it, because then that led to Fourth Wing, and then that led to literally everything else that I read.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think those are the top three.
Oh, I love that. Okay, well, lastly, I want to just give you a chance to kind of let listeners know how we can best support you. So, like your social media platforms, or yeah, any way that we can support Marigold Bookstore.
Yeah. if you're on social media, we have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have Facebook. I think that's it.
Hmm.
Marigold Bookstore. I think TikTok is Marigold's Books. It might be Bookstore. Um,
I can tag your handles and stuff too,
yeah, Facebook,
into the
Marigold's
description.
Bookstore, Instagram, Marigold's Bookstore. But we're on all of those things. Uh, just stay engaged. I know that not everybody can come in. A great way to support any business or any person is with, liking and engaging with their social media content. And I'd be very grateful. But yeah, just all of those things. We also have our email. We have a website, marigoldsbooks.com. You
Hmm.
can, if you've got questions or you need anything, you can always email us there on our contact form. We're pretty quick about replying. I would say within a day,
Hmm.
that's our goal. But it's just Katie and I, so sometimes we're a little bit longer, but we try very hard to reply to everybody within 24 hours. So, but yeah, those are our social medias. I will send them to you if you want
Yeah.
to use them. That'd be great. If not, that's okay.
Yes. I'm also wondering, do you guys have a way that people can order books from your store if they're not in the area, like
So
online?
we don't yet.
Okay.
We're working on it. We just learned that we could set up from either Ingram. Ingram is a distributor, a wholesale
Hmm.
distributor that partners with every single publishing house.
Okay.
We've just realized, again, we're new, we're figuring it out,
Yeah.
that we could order books and ship directly from Ingram to your home.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
direct to ship. And so we're working on getting that set up and linked up to our website. We
Okay.
are hopeful that it will happen within the next, 4 months. It might be after
Mhm.
Christmas.
Mhm.
We might give ourselves one more holiday season before we get really crazy.
Yeah.
We are working on that option. So as of right now, no. But if
Okay.
you call, we can order anything, even if you're not in the area, and we are willing to ship. So there
Okay.
is that option. Um, we just don't have it on our website.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally. And you're new, like you said, and getting things set up. So
There's so many aspects to this that we still don't know. So we are
mhm.
we are learning on the fly
I love it. Me too, every day.
every day. Every day.
Yes. Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to this interview again. It's been so lovely to talk to you.